Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. On the eve of a showdown for Tasmania's top job, with deals done and a vote looming, it won't be long until we know who our next Premier will be. But as the two frontrunners for the Liberal leadership work to win over their colleagues' support, Labor says the past week has been a sign of a government in chaos.
Exactly 1 week ago, Minister Roger Yench was all laughs, spruiking Mona Foma. But if this week's proven anything, it's that things move fast in Tasmanian politics. Out again today on a very different topic, who he'll be voting for to become our next Premier. And he's already made up his mind.
I won't be telling you that today. Tomorrow, me and my colleagues will go into the party room and we will select a new leader.
It was only on Tuesday Premier Will Hodgman announced his shock resignation. Then just 2 days later, his two potential successors came forward. A showdown on the way. Peter Gubwin versus Michael Ferguson for leader. Jeremy Rockcliffe versus Elise Archer for deputy.
Whoever it is, I know that Tasmania will be in safe hands, and Will Hodgman, after the last 6 years of being the Premier of this state, has done a tremendous job.
I don't think either Peter Gutwin or Michael Ferguson are going to be anything like the leader Will Hodgman was. And that's going to be quite a shift for Tasmanians to come to terms with.
The Liberal Party will vote at midday tomorrow, but we may never know just what the candidates offered in return for their colleagues' support.
I've had discussions with both the leadership candidates to understand what they say that they can offer our team. We've got a process in place that will deliver us a leader tomorrow, no problem.
No matter who comes out tomorrow as the Premier of Tasmania, what we do know is that about half their colleagues around the table don't think they're the right person for the job, and that's not good for the people of Tasmania.
The start of a new era in Tasmanian politics on the way. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A motorbike rider has been injured in a single vehicle crash at Pyengana. The crash happened on the Tasman Highway just before 1 p.m. The Westpac rescue helicopter was called in, with the rider being airlifted to the Royal Hobart Hospital for further treatment. In Tasmania, the peak tourism body is working alongside its federal counterparts to ensure the state is not impacted by a loss of mainland visitors. Tourism Tasmania says the state's travellers have not yet been put off by our own summer bushfires, but that could change. It says the flow-on effects of a drop in national visitor numbers could impact our local operators.
3 out of 4 international visitors to Tasmania incorporate other parts of Australia in their itinerary, so we're not immune from the impacts. That's why it's important that we're part of this collaborative effort with the federal government.
It's not yet clear whether any of the $76 million tourism package announced today will be spent directly in Tasmania. Cheaper bus fares for concession holders in regional areas came into effect today. The state government says the existing urban concession categories will be extended to non-urban areas, providing cheaper travel for those in rural and regional areas. Meanwhile, improvements have been made to routes and timetables in the north, with more direct and frequent services running. From today, new morning and evening bus services will also run between Queenstown and Strahan. As the sun goes down tonight, Mona Foma is entering its final hours after dazzling crowds this week. If you miss the action, don't stress. The festival is locked in to return next year.
You never quite know what you'll hear at Mona Foma. The bands push boundaries, push the sound barrier. They even push people out of the picture.
My work is a robotic, semi-automated robotic percussion device called SARPS. I think it's going to secure my retirement when I'm too old to actually play the drums.
With so much to see, it's easy to be exhausted. Away from the stages, art imitates life as dancers lure visitors into their performance. Some crossed the country to be here.
Far North Queensland.
And have you come all the way down just for this?
Absolutely. We wanted to see Mona Foma, and so we had to come down here.
A festival as dazzling as it is challenging.
Some of the experiences are bittersweet, so there's a lot of depth to it, you know.
but not disappointing.
It's fantastic, it's fun, it's colourful and it's mofo.
An estimated 50,000 people have passed through the week's shows and venues. That's left organisers more than happy, especially with another year of government funding locked in.
So it's a definite for next year, and then the way things are going and the kind of word that I hear from the people here, they seem to be pretty happy that we're here.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Industry bosses are calling on the government to make the next Premier Minister for Tourism. Outgoing Premier Will Hodgman has held the portfolio throughout his leadership, even holding his final press conference at Wineglass Bay on Friday. The tourism lobby insists the role needs to be held by whoever has the top job.
The job's not done, and we think ultimately tourism belongs to the Premier. All the issues we're dealing with as an industry cut across every part of government.
The industry is focusing its efforts this year on high-end boutique tourism, such as local produce in the Tamar Valley. A barnstorming 90 from import David Miller wasn't enough for the Hobart Hurricanes, who went down to the Adelaide Strikers in their BBL clash in Launceston. The home side falling short by 10 runs in a thriller, with their finals chances now all but over.
It was simple for Hobart today. Win or all but forget about playing finals. The Hurricanes won the toss and elected to field, a decision that didn't start well.
That's hit in the air away through mid-wicket.
Caleb Jewell dropped opener Jake Weatherald in the second over. But Scott Boland and Nathan Ellis didn't waste their opportunity, teaming up to dismiss Phil Salt.
And there's the first wickets. Ellis dives to take the catch.
And then Boland produced a piece of magic to remove Weatherald.
You're kidding me. Scotty Boland take a bow.
Head was given a lifeline on 22, using the second chance to torment the Hurricanes bowlers.
Boys melted that. Speaking of hard.
Clive Rose eventually dismissing Head for 79.
Will it clear or will it be caught?
Matt Short and Wells teaming up to keep the runs flowing, frustrating the home side.
Speaking of finding the boundary, Paney, how about clearing the boundary?
The Hurricanes set 187 for victory, with Matt Wade showing his intentions early. However, he didn't last past the first over.
Wade's gone. Big early breakthrough.
Jewell following in the fifth over as he tried to get the run rate moving. Doran started pushing on as Dave Miller found the boundary early. Doran, however, departing to a classic catch.
Yes. Travis Head. He's done absolutely everything superbly today.
The run rate quickly rising to 12 and over, with McDermott resorting to unorthodox methods. But the South African wasn't for throwing in the towel.
And that is just exceptionally good.
However, it was too much for Hobart, falling short by 10 runs. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Finally tonight, more than 250 of Tasmania's youngest athletes have gathered in Hobart this weekend for the State Multi-Event Championships. Children aged between 8 and 15 were put through their paces on the track and in the field across a variety of disciplines in a format similar to a renowned Olympic event.
It's, I guess, like a miniature version of a decathlon for the kids. They get points for each event, and the highest point scorer at the end of the day becomes a champion in their age group.
The competition was fierce, pushing participants to perform at their very
We've done
best.
High jump, and I got third in team Group B. I've gone really well. I've got like a huge PB in my high jump, so I'm pretty impressed with that.
Competitors will now turn their attention to the State Relay Championships, which will be held next month.
Welcome back. It's been a mostly cloudy day with some sunny spells in the east this afternoon. Launceston recorded the state's high reaching 27 degrees, Hobart and Devonport 21, Burnie 19. Maximum temperatures sat around the average in the north and west, but were generally 1 to 4 degrees below average around the rest of the state. Ouse 24, Grove 23, Friendly Beaches and Strawn 22, Flinders Island 21, Low Head and St Helens both 20, Lyowini 19, Smithton 18, King Island 17. Here's a look at today's satellite images with cloud covering much of the state. On the bigger picture, mid to high cloud over southern SA and western Victoria, with thunderstorm cloud over parts of New South Wales, Victoria and WA. Moving on to tomorrow, and the chart shows an east to southeasterly wind flow over Tasmania as a low pressure system develops just off the northeast coast. On the waters, southeasterly winds increasing to 25 to 30 knots about the southwest and northeast in the late afternoon, swells at 1 to 2 metres. A strong wind warning is in place for northern and eastern waters between Cape Portland and Wineglass Bay, as well as in the west from Southeast Cape to Sandy Cape. Light rain forecast over much of the state tomorrow. Hobart and Dover looking at tops of 17, Ouse 22. Launceston and Scottsdale 25 degrees, Devonport 23. Burnie also 23, partly cloudy at Strawn 23 degrees, Stanley showers and 22. St Helens 19, Swansea 18, Ross 22. UV very high 10s across the state, sun protection recommended even with that light rain. Looking ahead to Tuesday now, morning showers in the northeast, but mostly fine elsewhere. Wednesday, rain developing in the north, west and central parts of the state, with possible afternoon and evening showers elsewhere. Rain statewide on Thursday, easing to showers in the afternoon, with possible thunderstorms developing in the west and north. Looking to the mainland tomorrow, fairly wet conditions all round, aside from Perth, where they're expecting some sun. Showers for Adelaide and Sydney, with thunderstorms on the way for Melbourne, Canberra, Brisbane, Broome and Darwin. And Rachel, before I go, here's a look at the current conditions. And with that, it's back to you.
Yeah, still a lovely evening. Thank you very much for that, Britt. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a happy and safe week. Good night.